All right, lads and lasses, this is my England 2026 World Cup 26-man squad, of course, to go to the United States, Canada and Mexico for the 2026 World Cup. Let's be honest, a 35-man squad is bloated. It's full of players who are, of course, there to test things out, keep competition high, and maybe delay the big decisions. But we're not going to be doing that in this video. We're not going to be delaying decisions in this video. I'm going to give you my thoughts on who I think should go to the World Cup this year in America, Canada and Mexico. Who Tuchel I think should be taken based purely off of performances and, of course, the players that should be going to the World Cup. So we'll start off with the goalkeepers. 100% on the plane obviously has to be Jordan Pickford. He's the number one. He's been the number one for a long time. I don't think anybody's going to dislodge him from that anytime soon. So 100% on the plane is Jordan Pickford. For me, it's between two of our goalkeepers, as I've been taking three goalkeepers to, of course, this tournament. And out of the other four keepers that have been in the recent 35-man squad of Ramsdale, Dean Henderson, James Trafford and Jason Steele, I'd say Steele's probably a standby keeper, to be honest. And that leaves us with two other keepers, of course, to pick from out of the three. So James Trafford, yes, he plays for City, but he hasn't been playing a lot of games. So I think he is again another person that should be classed as a standby player to go, of course. So putting that down as standby for James Trafford. That takes us on to, of course, Ramsdale and Dean Henderson. I say Ramsdale is 100% on the plane. He's playing minutes for this season. And of course, you know, he's been doing some really good stuff for us in the Premier League, in the league and in the Cups this season as well. He's pretty much took over that number one spot as well from Nicky Pope, of course, this season for us Newcastle United fans. And that's why I say he is on the plane as well alongside Jordan Pickford. And that means that then Dean Henderson is also on the plane. But I'd say Dean Henderson's probably coming in at maybe the number three choice for the goalkeeper. A lot of people might disagree with that. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Of course, it's just purely you know, for fun at the end of the day, this video, just to give my opinion on who I think should be going out of the players of the current 35-man squad that has been selected for the recent friendlies against Uruguay and, of course, Japan. So at the minute, we've got, of course, for the goalkeepers, Pickford, and Ramsdale and, of course, Dean Henderson, with standbys of Jason Steele and James Trafford. That takes us now on to, of course, the defenders, and this is where, you know, we're going to be seeing a little bit more debate probably, because there is quite a bit of choice here in the defensive side of things. Of course, a lot of people are saying that they want to see Reece James called up and, of course, being the starting player for England at this World Cup. For me, I think the starter and 100% on the plane should be, of course, Tino Livramento. Not because he's a Newcastle United player, but because of the way, of course, Tino Livramento has been playing this season when he has been fit. He's been full of energy, he's been full of pace, he's been full of defensive intelligence as well. And he gets up and down the pitch all game and doesn't look fazed in big moments, as well as we have seen quite a bit this season. When he has been fit to play, he hasn't looked fazed in them big game moments, and that is what the World Cup is all about, them big game moments. So we need players with that mentality being there on the plane and going out to this World Cup over in the States. Reece James, of course, obviously also is included into, of course, the squad, and that then takes us on to, of course, the left backs, which for me, definite 100% starter and 100% on the plane is, again, another fullback from Newcastle United, and Lewis Hall this time, of course. For me, Tino Livramento, Lewis Hall, two of the best fullbacks in the world right now, and of course a pleasure to see them playing in black and white, you know, for us Newcastle United fans. but it's about what they're going to be doing in the weight, for England come this summer tournament, because Lewis Hall, he's absolutely brilliant. Tino Livramento, as I've just mentioned, absolutely brilliant as well in them big game moments. But Lewis Hall is also brilliant in their big game moments. We've seen him this season. As Newcastle United fans, we have seen Lewis Hall take on the likes of PSG, take on the likes of Barcelona, literally pocketed Yamil Lamar of Barcelona, one of the best young wingers in the world, pocketed by Lewis Hall. And them are the big game moments, them are the big, things that we'll want to see when we get to this tournament out over in the States. We'll want to see, play moments like that from Lewis Hall and other England players going to this tournament, because them are the moments that win you the games, them are the moments that'll get you to the final. And having players with that kind of mentality that don't, flinch, don't get scared when it's a big opportunity and a big moment to shine on the world stage, them are the players that you need, to go to the tournament. So Lewis Hall definitely in there. Nick O'Reilly as well, 100% on the plane as another left back option. And then there's the versatility there as well of Tino Livramento, who can also play on that left as well. We're looking at some versatility moments with the squad, of course, that will go over to this World Cup, because that's what we need to do. We've only got a 26-man squad that can go to this World Cup, so we need to look at the options on the players that are going to be able to be versatile, are going to be able to play in multiple positions. And that's something that we've seen Thomas Tuchel do so far as well, that, we weren't seeing Southgate do when he was the England manager. We're seeing Tuchel come in and he's picking players that are versatile, something that we see, on a daily basis as Newcastle United fans. Eddie Howe is somebody that has been heavily linked with England over the years, since, of course, joining Newcastle United, and even before joining Newcastle United, and Eddie Howe is a similar mould to Thomas Tuchel in the fact that he likes versatile players that can play in multiple positions, because that then, gives you more options. And when you've got a very tight squad of 26 men to go over to a tournament, you need them options, to be able to switch things up in games when, people least expect it. So that's something that is going to be a focal point, I think, with the England squad, and the decisions that Thomas Tuchel goes with, going into, of course, that international tournament and that World Cup in America, Canada, Mexico come the summer. So far, just a quick recap. Goalkeeper options, we've got Pickford, we've got Ramsdale, we've got Dean Henderson. For the full-back options so far, we've got Tino Livramento, Halsey and Nico Williams, and of course Reece James. I just don't have the picture, unfortunately, of Reece James to put up, but Reece James is also included there as well, on the 100% on the plane. That then takes what onto, of course, the centre-back roles, and this is where you'd say, Mark Guehi, 100% on the plane, I'll say as well. Dan Burn for me, 100% on the plane. John Stones, 100% on the plane as well. And Konsa as well, going 100% on the plane for England. So that then, gives us the 3 full-back options, or 4 full-back options, of course, of Tino, Reece James, Halsey and Nico Williams. Then we've got, of course, the centre-back options of 4 players there in Mark Guehi, Dan Burn, John Stones and Konsa as well. So that means that, we are going to be seeing people like Gerald Kwanzaa missing out. We're obviously going to be seeing other players as well missing out in there. The likes of Tomori, probably. But I think, we could see maybe a Tomori being a going/maybe kind of player, to be honest, because he is quite a good player and he has got some pace, so we could possibly see him as a going /maybe. For me, Harry Maguire is a no-go. He's staying home for me. I wouldn't be taking Harry Maguire, and of course Dejan Spence as well is another one, is a stand-by player. Ben White as well also stand by, but we have seen, of course, Tuchel include him in the squad. He did just score recently as well, so we could maybe upgrade that to a going slash maybe on Ben White, of course, and then that takes us on to, of course, the midfield side of things, where again there's going to be a bit more debate again in this area, but 100% on the plane, you would see the likes of Declan Rice, the likes of Jude Bellingham, you would say, are 100% certain to go to the tournament. Elliot Anderson, definitely 100% on the plane for me. That lad is absolutely brilliant, and I still am angry about the fact that we lost him through, of course, PSR to Nottingham Forest just a few seasons back now, and he's being talked about by a lot of people, and for all the right reasons, because Elliot Anderson is an absolutely wonderful player. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get the ball into the areas, and he's played, I think it's 5 out of the past 7 games now for England. So that just shows that Tuchel also appreciates Elliot Anderson as an England international. And let's not forget, we almost lost him to Scotland if, of course, we hadn't had somebody like Tuchel in as the England manager. So we would have lost Elliot Anderson to the Scottish, if not for, of course, Thomas Tuchel picking him in and giving him the call up to the England international team. Other players that I would say are, of course, guarantees to go as well would be the likes of probably Cole Palmer. He can pick out some moments in games as well. James Garner, I would say, as well, as another good option for, of course, the England squad going to the World Cup. And I think a good shout for a go as well would be somebody the likes of Lewis Miley, but I'll put him in the going slash maybe, to be honest, because I think Lewis Miley's got the potential to go. Unfortunately, has had injuries this season, so he hasn't had as many minutes as he would like. But when he has had the minutes, he's shown that he does have the potential, and he does have the ability to play in them big moments, and he has done. In, of course, the past, when he first came on the scene at Newcastle United, and he was playing against PSG in the Champions League and pocketing players the likes of Kylian Mbappe, so he has proven that he can play in them big moments. And again, that is what we need when we're going to these tournaments. We need players that are being able to play in them big moments. So let's have a look so far what we've got. We've got 3 goalkeepers, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensive players there. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 midfield players there, of course. So far we've got 15 players is 100% on the plane. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players is 100% on the plane so far. So that leaves us another 11 players to pick for, of course, being on the plane. And that, of course, means that so far in the midfield, we've got Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Elliot Anderson, Cole Palmer, and James Garner. And then, of course, you would expect in that midfield as well, players like probably Adam Wharton going in there as well, I would say. But I might put that more as a going slash maybe for Adam Wharton. But he has been a really good player this season, and he has done some really good stuff. So it's a bit between 100% on the plane slash going slash maybe. Yeah, let's go 100% on the plane for Adam Wharton. And that then takes us to Eberechi Eze, I think, is another player that should 100% be on the plane for this tournament, and that means that I would be leaving out, of course, the likes of Phil Foden. I don't think Foden has played enough games this season to give him a chance of going, but I think he would still be maybe in the going slash maybe pale for, of course, Tuchel's options, because we know what Phil Foden can do. Sometimes, when he really gets his head into the game, he can do some good stuff. But with him having very little minutes, of course, for Man City this season, I don't really see him being 100% on the plane. So that's why I'm going to put him in the going slash maybe pale. Of course, let us know what your thoughts are down in the comments, but I think that's probably going to be a bit of a stickler for some people, because I know that a lot of people do like Phil Foden, and I do like Phil Foden as well, don't get us wrong, but when you haven't been having the minutes, then it is a question on if you should just be included just because of your name and, of course, your stature in world football. But that, of course, takes us on to the forwards, and again, this is going to be somewhere that is going to be a bit of a debate once again. 100% on the plane is the likes of Harry Kane, I would say, because at the end of the day, he's the out and out striker. He's the one that always plays the most minutes for England at tournaments. So I think 100% on the plane is Harry Kane. That then leaves you, with the likes of Bukayo Saka to choose from, Gordon to choose from. I think 100% on the plane as well is Gordon, purely, because he is such a really good winger. He's been firing on all cylinders this season as well for us Newcastle United fans, and he's scored, some of the most goals this season, and he's scored the highest amount of goals, I believe it is, in the Champions League this season as well for us Newcastle United fans. So, for me, Anthony Gordon goes 100% on the plane. He's a versatile player as well. He can play in that attacking role, which is what I was talking about before. We need versatile players going to this tournament. So for me, Gordon is in there as well. Bukayo Saka is another one that is a definite on the plane player. And then that takes us on to, of course, another out and out striker. And I think, we'll see maybe somebody like Ivan Toney or Dominic Calvert-Lewin going here. For me, I would probably say somebody along the lines of maybe Ivan Toney, because he's just, doing some really good stuff. Yes, it is the Saudi League, but he is scoring a lot of goals. It's a very hot climate. We're going to be playing in a very hot climate come the summer in the States and Canada and Mexico. Of course, it's going to be hot climates. Probably not so much Canada, but America and Mexico, there is going to be hot climates. So somebody that's already playing in the hot climate of Saudi Arabia, banging in goals, I think definite Ivan Toney 100% on the plane for me. And then going slash maybe probably Calvert-Lewin in there as well. And let's just have a quick count up of how many players we've got for, of course, the England squad so far. So far, with just the 100% players on the plane, we have 21 players there. Then adding in the going slash maybe, we have, of course, enough to make a 26-man squad there. Looking at the players that are left, that would mean that would be leaving the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White out, the likes of Harvey Barnes out, the likes of course, Jordan Henderson, Kobbie Mainoo, Rashford, also Morgan Rogers, and of course Jared Bowen as well, out of course the England squad. So for me, I think we'll start looking at some of the players that we could maybe bring from them options below into the England squad. I don't think Rashford deserves being called into the England squad. I really don't. I don't think he's done enough. He isn't playing enough games for Barcelona. So I think he gets left out. Maybe it's more as a standby just in case sort of a situation. I don't think Henderson goes at all, to be honest. I really don't. And Kobbie Mainoo, he hasn't played enough games, I don't think, to be honest. But I could possibly throw him in as a standby player maybe in the off chance that we do need him at some point. And that then gives me the option, of course, of Jared Bowen, Morgan Rogers, and of course Harvey Barnes and Morgan Gibbs-White. Now that's 4 really good players that would be leaving out of the England squad there. It is a tough decision. I do think, to be honest, looking at it, that we should have somebody like Harvey Barnes in the squad. He has been doing some really good stuff. Of course, this season he's had some really good form. Morgan Gibbs-White as well as another one. Jared Bowen is another person as well that we could add possibly into the squad, but who would take out of that squad to put them in, and if they would be 100% on the plane, or if they'd just be going / maybe options, of course. I think we'll take maybe Ben White out and we put somebody in like Jared Bowen. We'll take Ben White out and move him more as a standby. That then, of course, gives us the options of leaving players like Morgan Gibbs-White, Harvey Barnes, and Morgan Rogers as still options to choose from. But looking at the players that we have at our disposal there, it is a tough one. It is a very, very tough one to choose. I do think we should see Gibbs-White, Rogers and Harvey Barnes getting an inclusion. I think maybe Harvey Barnes more as a standby player. And then, of course, probably, I think we'll probably see Morgan Gibbs-White coming in as a standby player as well, and I would say maybe it's Morgan Rogers as a standby player as well, with Jordan Henderson not getting the cut. I don't think Jordan Henderson should be going. A lot of people want him to go because of the experience, but if that's the case, then he should be taken as a coach across. I've heard a lot of people saying that, if it's just about his leadership off of the pitch that you want him included in the England squad for, then I think just take him across, is just a leader off of the pitch as a vocal voice, to, rally the troops, so to speak, of course, going into games. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like I say, it's all a bit of fun. But that is, of course, my squad there. Who would you switch around in these positions? Of course, like I say, the going / maybe pale, that could be switched around a bit. The 100% on the plane, I think, is pretty decent squad, to be honest. Going, of course, to the World Cup, but let us know your thoughts. I mean, there's a few there in the standby options that I would, personally maybe switch with a few in the going / maybe I'd maybe put Harvey Barnes in there, maybe, because he has been such a good player this season and he has done a lot of forward this season, but it is about, of course, purely England, and I think he does deserve a shot, but I will put him in the standby pale, just for like personal opinions, to be honest, just so that doesn't look like I am being biased towards Newcastle United players. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. That is, of course, the team that I would take. Is there any there that you would switch up? Let us know down in the comments below. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. However, lads.